Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 004 of Sosa's Steam Room. On today's show, we're going to talk a little Blackhawks, Marian Hossa's injury, Bulls at the All-Star break and possible trade rumors, Cubs as they begin spring training and some early arrivals, and we reflect on the career of Matt Forte as a Bear. Hit that music. It's Tuesday, Blake.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, February 16th, 2016, and you know what that means. It's time for an episode of Sosa's Steam Room. My name is Drew Edstrom, for those of you who don't know, and the man sitting across from me right now is a dude who loves hugs a lot. Blake Van Pocky.
How's it going?
It's going, man. You have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was a pretty good weekend.
Yeah?
Just kind of lounging around, you know.
He was lounging.
I was lounging.
Watching some sports, as
Watched
always.
a lot of sports.
I feel like we started every show the same way, talking about
Pretty
sports.
much.
This is a sports podcast.
Is it really?
Yes. If you're here for podcasts about steam rooms, you're at the wrong podcast. I know the title might be a bit confusing, but we talk about sports
That'd
here.
be an interesting podcast.
It would be.
Very weird.
Yeah, I was up in the Upper Peninsula this weekend of Michigan.
Oh, were you?
I was just hanging out with a couple kiddos at a camp that I used to work at. And it was a great time, but I'm back. Got in yesterday afternoon and ready to record.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. So a couple things you guys need to know. We love email. Email is a proper form of communication for us. You can shoot us some questions at sosasteamroom@gmail.com. We also have a Twitter and Facebook page if you like that sort of stuff. At Sosa's Steam Room. Search Sosa's Steam Room on Facebook as well. We also have some personal Twitter accounts. Myself at DN Edstrom, and Blake, your Twitter handle?
At Soldier Field, BLG.
The big BLG.
The big BLG.
BLG.
We've made that joke every week.
And it's going to continue.
It's gonna continue.
I just want to say happy Valentine's Day to you. Late Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Did you have a Valentine? Do you have a Valentine?
Yeah, I got a secret admirer, apparently.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think you knew about this.
I don't know about
You
this.
did not know about this?
Don't know about your secret
This is a coup going on here.
I had no idea, but
Yeah.
we could talk more about that later.
Yeah, we can.
But you can always be my Valentine if you want, Blake.
Okay.
Just
Will
so
you
you
send
know.
that up? You send
Just
that
so
up.
you know. All right, let's get into a little Blackhawks talk here. As they kind of have gone through a rough stretch as of late. They lost 3 in a row before putting up a touchdown last night on the Maple Leafs. But the Maple Leafs are a pretty horrible hockey team.
Yeah.
Going through a complete rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, any thoughts on the recent stretch of play from the Hawks?
There's a lot I could say about this. I mean, they go on a 3-game road winning streak, and then they follow it up with a 3-game home losing streak.
That doesn't happen often.
It doesn't happen ever. I mean, they're 21-5 and 2 before the last 4-game stretch at home, and then we saw what happened.
Yeah. He had a tough loss to Dallas. A little bit of payback there.
Yeah.
And the loss in overtime to Anaheim.
Those games have been really weird so far. I mean, there's been 3 games, and I think all 3 games have been 4-goal wins by the team that won, which is pretty weird, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, but they got back on track last night, it seems, putting up a 7 spot.
Yeah. Well, nothing's better than
just
one of those Canadian teams just rolling through town.
Shout out to Canada.
That's pretty much the only thing they're good for right now.
Can we relocate to Canada when Donald Trump is elected as
We
president?
might have to.
My dad and I were talking about this and how we might just have to jump ship. Sorry, America, if you guys continue to blow me away. Something that did happen over the weekend that was a little scary was a Marian Hossa injury.
Yes.
Just some stats on the year. He has 28 points so far, and he has a plus-minus rating of 10. So obviously an important part of this team. Blake, what are you missing most with Marian Hossa out of the lineup.
Well, luckily he's only gone 2 weeks.
Yes.
Which, not a long period of time.
Yeah.
But still 2 weeks without Hossa is still a big loss. But you're not missing much offensively right now. His offensive game has taken a backseat to his defensive play all year. And that's shown by, only 28 points on the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, you'll miss his two-way game, and the first line without him is kind of lacking.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have to put different guys in there, like Panik was working the first line last night.
Mm-hmm.
And, we'll see what happens these next 2 weeks. But
yeah, it'd be interesting. You're obviously going to miss his strength. Every single time I watch Sosa, I just am blown away with how strong he is still at such an old age.
Works really well with Taves.
Yeah, they're buddies. So you're
Long
obviously
time.
going to be missing him, that veteran leadership. But
Yeah.
you said it, this offensive game isn't what it used to be, but still a very crucial member of this Blackhawks squad. You're not going to win a cup without him, I think.
Yeah.
But he will be back, but you never really know with Q and it's his sort of timetables. He's never really definitive, but it's good that it's only going to be about 2 weeks.
Yeah. At first, we thought it might be a little longer, but, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Injuries happen throughout a long stretch, and hopefully the Hawks can fill in the
Nothing
holes.
too serious.
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about anything.
Absolutely.
I mean, they put up a touchdown last
They
night.
put up a
without him.
touchdown with an extra point.
With an extra point.
Even if they move the extra point back.
Some field goal kickers can't even...
College kickers.
College special teams,
Hashtag college special teams. But someone else who scored last night has been on a tear as of late is Brent Seabrook.
Brandon Mashinter.
That guy, too. I never thought we would ever mention his name on this podcast.
Almost got two last night.
He clearly off the post, that second goal. But
He should have scored that.
They were kind of quick to jump the gun last night.
Yeah, I thought it went in.
I thought it did, too. But, yeah, everyone was getting a little excited, beating up on a bad team, and it happens.
Yeah.
But
those games are fun.
Siebes, recent stretch, is 3 goals in 2 games.
Yes.
Stepping up. I kind of thought he had kind of a weak shot last night. That his goal last night was kind of just like a softie going in there.
It was.
Goalie could have played that, but again, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Leafs.
Built to lose.
Yeah.
But where do you rank him among the D-men on the Hawks with Hammer and Keith? Some of those guys. Where do you put him?
I'd put him right behind Duncan Keith.
You put him at the 2 spot, second best defenseman on the team.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Best offensive defenseman we have. Has really provided a spark this year on offense and has really turned up his offensive game and is taking more shots, which is, with his slap shot.
Yeah, it's killer.
He's a great guy for the power play. He always puts pucks on net. He's really accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's been great this year. And just signed that contract in the offseason.
Yep.
I was kind of skeptical with how much money they gave him. He's getting up there in age, but if he can keep producing on offense,
he's going to buy a lot of nachos.
He's going to buy everyone nachos, and it's going to be delicious.
Brent, if you're listening, I like nachos with some jalapenos on there.
I like jalapenos on nachos, too.
Yeah, I do too. Adds a little spice to it. So
adds a little spice.
When you're listening, whenever you get around to it, email us and we can go get nachos together at Rabbits. Shout out to Rabbits. We got to get Rabbits to sponsor this podcast.
We'll
we've
talk
mentioned
to
them
them
3 times.
They need to give us royalties or something.
Yeah, like beverages and various bar foods, which would be good.
Nachos with
Lots
the
of
jalapenos. With the jalapenos.
Nachos. All right, Blake. Let's just get into this here with a little Bulls talk. It's the All-Star break. I don't know if you watched any, or it was the All-Star break. Bulls don't play until Thursday when they have a very, very nice back-to-back opening up with Cleveland and Toronto, the top 2 teams in the East. So welcome back, Bulls. But the All-Star break was pretty fun. You saw Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon going off in the dunk contest. I don't know if you saw any of those highlights.
I saw some stuff on Twitter.
They were insane.
I saw the Aaron Gordon under the legs one.
Over
That
the mascot.
that was my favorite one.
I agree.
That was a good one.
I think that was the best dunk of the night, but I think overall Levine had more like quality dunks. I think like spread out. He won the contest.
Yeah.
Stuff from the free throw line, stuff like that. It was pretty fun to watch. Go check out those highlights on YouTube.
Those guys are crazy.
Yeah. The dunk contest is back, people. Back. Kobe's last All-Star game, obviously emotional, where the West put up 190 plus points, which is ridiculous.
I turned it on with about like 3 minutes left. The game. And
Yes.
Only because I saw the score on my phone and was like, oh my god, 200 points might happen.
Yep. I mean, Tom Thibodeau is rolling over in his grave right now, wherever he is. I bet he watched with Kate Upton in his hotel room.
It is great. I still don't. I don't.
It's real.
Kate Upton thing. I don't.
It's
believe
real.
It. It's not real.
But yeah, it was good to see Kobe kind of go out in the spotlight there. Him and Pau going head to head. Crowd giving him some respect. It was cool.
It's cool, but come on, we've seen that happen how many times this season?
A lot, but this is Kobe Bryant. You know,
yes,
he's a
I
big
know
deal.
it's Kobe Bryant. I understand that, but I've just seen it a lot already, and it's going to happen a lot more.
The goodbye tour.
And we're going to see his last goodbye at Staples, which will be really cool. But
Yeah, absolutely. But this All-Star break's coming for the right time for the Bulls for sure. They're not going to have an easy task doing this without Jimmy Butler and all these other injuries that they have. Cleveland, Toronto, right off the bat. It might be a very tough 2 games to open up with. And again, with Jimmy out and all the injuries, I think this is Derrick Rose's time to really step up here. He's going to have to backpack the Bulls. He's averaging just under 16 points a game and right around 5 assists. And his production has to go up, I think, with Jimmy out and the way that Jimmy's been carrying the team so far this season. Derrick has to step up. And if he doesn't, the Bulls will fall out of that.
Is he
playoff spot.
capable of stepping up?
We never really know because of his body and the various ailments that he has. He's been a lot better since Christmas. His numbers since Christmas have gone up dramatically. And he's had some signs of being that his speed is definitely back. But it's the consistency. Is he going to have the drive to do it every night? People always say that he only comes to play against really good point guards, which is definitely something I see from time to time.
I feel like that is actually true.
Yes.
He kind of embraces the challenge.
Yeah.
But that's the only time he really embraces it.
Yeah. Every other time it's just kind of meh. So I'm guessing against Cleveland, Toronto, he comes out and he has good games there. And I think they get one of those games. I think they win one of them.
Well, they've been really good against Cleveland this year.
Yes, they played, and Toronto. They've beaten Toronto twice.
Oh, really?
So I think they win one of those games, even though they have been scuffling.
I feel like the Bulls are one of those teams that, really play up to their competition and then play down to their competition.
Yes, absolutely. It's always been the case for them. It's the mental game.
Especially this year. I've seen it. They beat good teams and then get dismantled by a really bad team. So.
Yep, absolutely. So Derrick is going to have to carry the load here with some help from Paul Gasol. If Pau's still on the team, with the trade deadline coming up. Some speculation, but not a ton. There's been some Dwight Howard and Hassan Whiteside swap talks out of Miami and Houston.
I've seen that.
But besides that, relatively quiet. The Clippers have kind of been making Blake Griffin available, which I think is pretty interesting after all this crap with punching a trainer and breaking his hand. And we'll see what the All-Star break brings. Last year's All-Star break was absolutely insane, especially right by the deadline. So we'll see if the Bulls make any moves. I think the only movable piece that they have left at this point is Taj Gibson, where you can get any sort of value back. I love Taj.
Well, is anyone... I guess Jimmy would be the only one who's untouchable, but, I mean...
There has been some speculation about trading Jimmy as well,
really?
too. On Twitter, at least, some people have been talking about it, but I wouldn't trade Jimmy.
I would at least entertain some ideas, see what's out there.
I don't know if it would be smart to trade Jimmy right now. If you're trading Jimmy right now, you're basically calling it a season, and the season after that, and the season, you're...
Well, do you think that is warranted? Yet. Do you think they still need more time to develop, or